Good evening, people, and welcome to B&R Sunday Night Special. You can see a few smiles in the house tonight and a little change as well. I'll be hosting this evening because I've got the biggest smile on my face. All you slot out lunatics, you can all take a run and jump tonight, and we can all talk about how much the Reds needed that result, needed that performance, and what's called? Are we back on track for another wonderful season? I think that might be a tiny bit premature, but I'll take that result and I'll take that 3 points, and I'll hope for a brighter few weeks to come. But good evening, everyone. Good evening, Avi. Good evening, Asim. How we doing, gents? Are we okay?
Yeah, Ben. A brighter few weeks, a brighter future. We all hope so. Avi's changed his mind about 10 million times, but as long as he's on the right side and we're on the right side and Liverpool are on the right side, that's all that matters, mate. And it'll be a lot calmer, a lot more enjoyable doing the show. But we have to always provide perspective that games are coming thick and fast. Villa is out the way. Villa was good. Liverpool were better. But after a couple of days, we've got Madrid and Trent. And then after another couple of days, we've got City. They're coming thick and fast, mate. And Liverpool must keep their foot on the pedal.
Absolutely. Avi, you're looking mentally worn there. Are you relieved after that performance last night?
A much needed result. We had a sort of religious event going on near the next city down for us.
Religious?
Like a religious
religion.
a little bit of a religious event. So I was saying my prayers, and a lot of prayers went towards the Liverpool team. And yeah, look, it was a much needed result. It was much needed, and the rapturous support for Arne Slot on the 60th minute was amazing. Salah, who looked unplayable at times last night, who looked as if he's getting back to his best. McAllister, who looked so much better. Still behind his elite peak form that he's shown in the last 2 years, but he was so much better. Look, let's not make any mistakes. Villa did have a couple of chances early on. The Rodgers shot that hit the post. But away from that, I thought we looked very comfortable, well-deserved. And yeah, Tuesday can't come quick enough for me, Ben. I think Madrid will be a good game. And for me, next Sunday, City are there for the taking. I've seen a lot of them this season. They do concede a lot of chances, bar Haaland and Doku in spurts. They can got at. So I'm very optimistic over the next two games.
Absolutely. Okay, let's just dissect Villa a little bit before we move on to some big fixtures coming up. What were your thoughts on the starting 11? Obviously, we did our combined 11 last night. The obvious person that was left out was Wirtz. Were you happy, or were you frustrated, or what were your thoughts on the team before the game? Obviously,
is that to me, Ben?
Yes, mate. Sorry.
I'll be honest with you. I was very disappointed. I wanted Wirtz to start. I've been screaming out. Loads of, practically the whole fan base is screaming out. This wasn't a 30 million signing. This wasn't a 40 million signing, Ben. We've spent 160 million pounds. Yes, he's 22 years of age, but it's 160 million pounds. And although, yeah, I get it, the physicality of the league, the environment, the team, and everything else in general, but I keep pointing towards the 160 million pounds. This isn't, just potential. We were buying not the ready-made, but he should be at a certain level where he can come and straight away start for Liverpool. And although, yeah, he hasn't covered himself in glory, but the underlying numbers, are promising. But I think you have to give credit to the manager. Again, what we were talking about, the lineup in midweek. If he didn't get a result against Aston Villa, we'd be talking about the result. We'd be talking about the midweek fixture against Crystal Palace in the Cup, and we'd be talking about the selection of Wirtz and McAllister yesterday. So he won. He was justified, and you have to, take your cap off to the manager. That is the main thing. Liverpool won. Doesn't matter how. Doesn't matter who was in the team. As long as we win, we play well, and it's promising and looking good. That is the main thing. And you have to give him credit. I tweeted just, I think in the morning of the game, Ben, that how does he go about it? Does he drop Salah in that press? Because we knew exactly how Aston Villa are going to turn up and play, because we just saw them against Man City. They are one of the best sides, even though it didn't look like it, generally speaking, in terms of centrally progressing the ball. And Liverpool adjusted that press around about 15 to 16 minutes and looked a lot better for it. But in terms of the selection, he has got a big decision to make going forward. It looks like now this is what he's going to go with. McAllister, Szoboszlai, and Gravenberch providing the protection for Salah. You know, the blueprint of last season. Small passes, conservative, and then rotating at the right time. It makes sense. When things are not going for you, you have to go back to basics, and it worked last season, and that's what he's going down towards. When Florian Wirtz comes into the team, we all want him to in the team, me included. But there are certain other tweaks and compromises you have to make to give him and provide him the environment. And one of those tweaks is making sure Salah drops 5-10 yards to make sure he gets the fullback. And what I mean about that is he cannot provide the intensity from the front like Dominic Szoboszlai. He cannot provide the protection to Salah that, you know, Wirtz would provide, because Wirtz is a lot more positionless. He'll go floating into areas looking for those pockets and trying to make play. That's the kind of free role that he likes. Can we afford Salah to do what he does over the course of the last 3-4 years and give Wirtz the platform to do what he wants to do? I don't think we're there yet. We don't have the physicality in midfield. If there was a less one midfielder playing instead of Wirtz, I want him in the team, but I don't think the manager is trusting him to provide that profile. And one of the reasons why one of the reasons why I think it's too open with Mohamed Salah. And that is the problem. Liverpool can do the basics right, just like yesterday, you know, provide the double pivot, provide the protection, make sure there's 3 or 2 at least in close proximity to each other. But right now, as I'm looking at how Arne Slot is looking at the team, he cannot literally take out McAllister and put Wirtz into a team as a good footballing team like Aston Villa, as how Aston Villa needed to be pressed after the 15th minute, led by Dominic Szoboszlai. I get it, why he made the change. Maybe I was emotional before the game and saying, look, how can you not? And spared a thought for Florian Wirtz. And that is a fact, even after the game. This version of McAllister is stopping him and preventing him to be in the team. And you have to look at that. And when does he get the chance? A lot of people saying he needs to come in for Gakpo. But the way Arne Slot plays and the way he wants to create isolation on the wings, I think it'll be too congested. We'll all be talking about Liverpool have got a lack of width. Right now, I think the formula for Arne Slot, if I'm putting myself in his shoes, is on the big day when he needs intensity, he goes with the 3. If he's faced with a team that we're going to get 75% possession and more and pin him back, and they're going to park a bus, a West Ham, a Sunderland at Anfield, then you play Florian Wirtz. Why? Because we've got more control. We've got, the team pinned in, and we can afford those risks, if in inverted commas, even though the team will be pinned in a 5-4-1 example. I think that's the formula. The challenge for Wirtz is to prove to the manager that he can cut it in terms of physicality. That's his challenge. And until then, I think you'll continue to see it.
Yeah. And I said myself, didn't I? I feel as though I don't think Wirtz can play in that midfield 3 at this moment in time, because he doesn't have that physicality and he doesn't have that intensity that you need in the Premier League. As gifted as he is, I feel as though the only way to get him into this side is to find a way of putting him in that front 3 or adjusting the front 3 to some other sort of formation. That's what I see it. I still think, I know he has played there once and it never really worked, but I still think his position in the short term for this Liverpool team is to be in the front 3 in Gakpo's position. That's my honest opinion. I think that there's a really good chance that that's something that happens on Tuesday against Real Madrid, because I'll be very surprised if he changes that midfield three now. It'd be interesting to see what happens. I don't know. What do you think, Avi?
I think Wirtz will come in. I think Arne Slot needs to make Florian Wirtz. He needs to make it work. First and foremost, we've spent a hell of a lot of money, Asim, on Florian Wirtz to not sit on the bench, and he will not be happy being on the bench. If we were told that there was a due diligence performed, there was a presentation performed and presented to Florian Wirtz that, listen, this is how you're going to be in the makeup of this team, on this title-winning team, you're going to elevate us even more. You're not going to be elevating us there from the bench. Let's just take that out of the equation. You're going to elevate us that by being in our starting 11. So either we've gone back on our word, or Slot's gone back on his not word, but he's gone back on his thesis and thought, you know what, I need to go back to basics by putting the title-winning midfield in that three and not drop it. Now, what's happened is in the last 5-6 weeks, we've persisted with Alexis McAllister. And yesterday we saw signs, small signs, not great signs, but small signs that Alexis McAllister had a better game, a much better game from the ones that we've seen this season. He's played absolute stinkers. So what Arne Slot has done has persisted, and it worked off last night. Yeah, now let's just hope that that consistency runs through for the rest of the course of the season. Now with Florian Wirtz, you have to fit him in, Ben. And how I see that at the moment is I think he's more suited to European football than maybe the Premier League football. I understand the physicality. I understand whether he can do the hard yards and whether he's physical enough in that midfield three. Well, you know what? You got a left winger who is stat padding right now. Let's just talk facts. By grabbing a goal here, by grabbing a tap in here, by grabbing another goal, a header or whatnot, and he's stat padding. And it's masking over it's masking over the whole 90 minutes of his productivity. And that's Cody Gakpo. So you got to put Wirtz there. But then the question is, where does your width come from? Who's going to drop back? Who's going to be the one that track? Because Wirtz is not going to track back. But what I saw from Salah yesterday was he put the hard yards in. We saw him track back yesterday. We saw him on par with Bradley at times, grabbing the ball from deep and having a little shimmy, doing a little dribble, getting away from 2-3 players, and he got away from trouble. And we saw him run more than he's run in previous games. He needs to fit Florian Wirtz. You cannot put a £120 million player on the bench.
I know it's only short-term plan, and obviously Robertson's not the future. But in the short term, do you not think he gave us or can give us that width on the left?
Is that to me or
you both took a drink at the same time? Sorry, no, back to Abby again. Come to you.
Can you just say that again, sorry, Ben?
I said, I know it's not the long-term solution, but while he's in the team and he's showing a bit of form, and Kirkus is obviously really struggling, do you not feel as though Robertson can give us that width on the left?
Robo can. I thought Robo yesterday was superb. So I go back on my words when I've said that. But for me, I tell you what was brilliant yesterday, Ben. We've seen an influx of players come in. And Arne Slot has panicked at the beginning of the season. And yes, the first 5 games it worked and we got the odd goal and people said, we're going to get better. We're top of the league and we're going to win the league by a country mile. What happened was he put a lot of players, thrust them in straight away. He didn't let the new signings learn the way we played from last season. We shouldn't have changed so much from last season, but he did. He wanted to put Wirtz in, maybe because of the pressure of that price tag. He had to put Ekitike in because Isak was he was still short of fitness, and he probably still is short of fitness. He had to put Kirkis in. 40 million. Robo's legs have gone that we've seen. He's had to put Kirkis in. Mamadashvili has to come in because of Alisson's injury. He's had to put a few pieces together. The right back situation, Bradley's still relatively new because Trent for the last 3-4 years dominated that position. Frimpong has come in. He's had to put a lot of jigsaws in that puzzle, and it hasn't worked. What he did yesterday was try to put his best 11 and mirror it to last season with the little changes here and there. The little changes meaning Ekitike came in, right, and Mamadashvili. So only 2 changes from last season. Those 2 players were in that first 11. Now, gradually, as the season goes on, he's going to have to integrate the next 2. And that may be Kirkis and Wirtz in this team. It may be Kirkis left back and Wirtz, yeah. And obviously Isak as well. He's going to have to do that like as the weeks go on. And I said mid-November, we will see the best of this Liverpool team. So we've still got like 2 weeks. But yesterday was a good sign. He's going to have to put the little pieces back in. The new signings will have to go back in because the because we have spent a lot of money. He does probably, and he was probably on par with the likes of Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes on these signings. He probably did want these players too. So he's going to have to put these players in, but he's going to have to do it as a gradual process, not just thrust him as he did early on.
I've been calling out for Curtis Jones to be right back. If you want Wirtz at left wing, Ben, then Curtis Jones has to be instead of McAllister. That right side looked a lot better yesterday because Szoboszlai, even for the disallowed goal, many times he was making that KDB run. When you make that KDB run, whether it's Szoboszlai from the right side in midfielder role or the high right back, Salah, you activate Salah, a different type of Salah. If you give him the movement and bodies around him, we saw it. And this is the reason why Salah looked a lot sharper, looked a lot more involved as well, because that right side balance looked a lot better. But what I would say, caveat everything, all the praise that we give, you have to provide a bit of perspective. I thought yesterday under the lights, 8 o'clock Saturday night, as good as Liverpool were, I thought Aston Villa played into our hands. One, because they tried to play out consistently, and the moment after the 15 minutes, I thought we looked a lot better. We swarmed all over them, and they didn't go long enough. And if you look at it carefully, I watched the game back today. A few occasions they went long, and Guasend from the right side, McGuinn from the left-hand side, got a lot closer into Watkins, and they turned around Liverpool with the second ball on a few occasions. And I thought they didn't do it enough. I checked the stats. I think they only went long around about 41 times compared to United, around about 80-odd, Brentford 90-odd. So you saw Liverpool was suited to how Aston Villa played, high line, 4-4-2, and all that sort of stuff. Yes, they were brave on the ball, but Liverpool looked really good after 15 minutes. But going back to the Wirtz on the left wing, if you don't have Curtis Jones from that left pivot or left-sided role on the left of Gravenberch, then I can't see Robertson, can't play 3 games in 10 days, and he can't do that role of Roberto Carlos. I called it on Twitter today. If it's Kirkez, he's got the legs, but does he have the maturity and the composure on the ball right now, and the confidence and the experience? I don't think so. So we do have a problem. But in terms of balance, I mean, if Kirkez and Robertson are playing well on the day, it can work. Why? Because Curtis Jones can hold width. He can go outside. He can shuttle across on and off the ball and allow Wirtz to come inside. And then if Curtis Jones is inside, you allow Kirkez to go on the overlap. If Curtis is on the halfway line, on the touch line, then Kirkez can come inside as well. Just like we saw Bradley, Salah, and Szoboszlai on the right-hand side.
They linked up really well, didn't they?
In terms of balance, that works better. But, the manager does like McAllister. He's hardly kicked a football over the last, 2-3 months in Venom. And he showed good form yesterday, a bit of confidence, and it'll do him good. But you can't deny the fact that he's been half of the player that we saw last year. And we've talked about relationships. We talked about some players have been missing. The guys who have left, Diaz and Sobo not in the number 10, have all made a big impact on the form and the role of McAllister. So if you want to see Wirtz, in my opinion, I think that midfield needs to change then to Curtis Jones on the left of Gravenberch, Szoboszlai in the 10, Wirtz.
It's the legs he provides as well, isn't it? Jones provides better legs than McAllister.
Yes,
I think there's no doubt about that either. I think Kirk is Jones and Wirtz.
Do you mean Gakpo gives us defensive cover rather than he's in the team as much for his defensive ability?
Jones would cover for Wirtz's lack of legs of getting back, like Sobo does with Salah right now. He's a great outlet, Sobo. He's an engine. Jones has, and fair play to Jones, because from his early days, he was a bit of a lazy bastard from the youth level. And Gerrard used to say, look, this player, you got to trust him. But at the moment, he is just a creative flair number 10. But Klopp, and just through the cycles of learning through Gini Wijnaldum, Jordan Henderson, Fabinho, he's done to be a little bit more physical, a little bit more. He's not that scrawny kid that he was at 17, 18. He is a big build, Curtis Jones. I think he's 6 foot. And he provides us the legs. We've seen the little cameos that he's played this season. He's played big roles in some of the games, the second half against Arsenal. Him on that left-hand side with Kirkez, who will definitely come good, and Wirtz, I think that's a brilliant balance on that side on the left. Yeah. And then on that right-hand side, whether you got Frimpong, who I hope Frimpong gets it together. I hope he gets away from these injuries, clear of these injuries and becomes a mainstay at that right back. You got his legs, Sobo's legs, that will just cover for Salah. But I thought Salah's work rate yesterday was superb. There was no issue from my side when it came to Mohamed Salah.
Yeah, the other thing I was thinking about Vert is that obviously, again, it's not a long-term solution, and we did talk about it a little bit. But I thought Ekitike was okay yesterday, but not great. I didn't think he was great against Brentford at all, and I thought he looked a little bit leggy as well towards, in the second half. He did come off, didn't he? And I wonder whether or not there's a conversation, maybe for Madrid on Tuesday, to play Vert as a false 9. And then you keep Gakpo on the left, you keep Salah on the right, but he doesn't play as a striker. He plays a lot deeper, and you have that extra person at the top of the midfield, and that, it retains the balance, but you just get a little bit more. I think you get a similar weight rate out of Vert as you do Ekitike, but maybe just a little bit more guile and a little bit more sort of cohesion. I think that's something that he might consider, possibly. I don't know.
Ben, I think Hugo Ekitike, myself, will be itching at the chance to go up against Real Madrid on Tuesday. And look, let's face it, right now, the best player in the world by a country mile is Kylian Mbappe. The way he started this season, he's been
flying,
nothing short of phenomenal. We talk about Haaland all day long, ladies and gentlemen. And as great as Haaland has been in the Premier League, Mbappe is on another level right now. Absolutely levels right now. And Ekitike, he will just fancy it. He'll want to quieten down the French golden boy, all this pin-up boy in Kylian Mbappe. He will be itching at the bits to start. I thought yesterday, his first touch is amazing. His link-up play is brilliant. There's a little pattern of play that he did with McAllister on that left-hand side. He was absolutely brilliant. Sublime touches. Was a bit quiet, but what a header. Unlucky that it was offside. He was offside.
6 months off.
It was a brilliant header. And we've talked about him working on his headering. We've been working on his headers and whatnot, but I thought it was a brilliant header. It was unlucky, it was offside. But I thought he wasn't leggy as such. I just thought it was a game. He fancied it, but he just didn't have.
No, he just doesn't have the intensity. He doesn't have the intensity, I don't think, in his press. But just going back to Vert, I'm just like, it's still playing on my mind. I'm thinking, what was that conversation with Slot in the summer? What was that big sort of like spiel that convinced him to sign? Because I've said it a few times already. I don't know what the plan was for his position if all of our other players who have won the league are fit and playing well, because that midfield, to me, picks itself. Obviously, it hasn't done this season because injuries and form. But then when they're on form and they're playing well, and that he doesn't get into that midfield 3, I don't think. I really don't, because of the balance that it gives each other, because of the attributes that one gives that compensates another. I just think the long-term plan has got to be Vert in that front 3, but maybe not as a front 3, maybe as a 2 and a 1, or maybe as a 1 and a 2, or something along those lines. I personally think that over time, the 2 places that are up for grabs is the left wing and the centre forward position. And I think over time, Isak and Vert will take those positions, and our best 11 will eventually be a Vert, Isak, Salah front 3 with our title winning midfield behind.
Ben, I think if the plan for Wirtz was left wing, 1, we would have seen it in pre-season. 2, most certainly we would have seen it from the first game, because whatever the plan was, we would have tried it straight away. We would have worked at it in pre-season and in training. So I don't see that plan. Yes, it's an option. Just like Wirtz from the right was an option against Galatasaray, but effectively coming into the number 10 on the ball, because we're going to practically have the ball all night anyway, so you can swarm around there. But if the plan for Wirtz was left wing, I think we would have seen it. The plan, we weren't part of that PowerPoint presentation, but we have to judge by what we see. And all the
he played in midfield 3 in pre-season, didn't he?
I can't remember, to be honest.
It fits and starts, yeah. I think he did, yeah. And do you think it's just being a case of they've realised he's just not at the level physically yet to cope in that midfield 3?
Look, I'm sure in the presentation, I'm sure. 1 minute, I'm sure in the presentation there was conversations on one of the slide decks to say, listen, you're not here to come for 1 year. You're here for the future. We're going to create the team around you. But at the moment, there's a player called Mohamed Salah who is doing these incredible numbers, and we believe and we hope that he'll continue to do these incredible numbers next season. So, your time will come, but right now we want you to learn the league. We want you to learn the way our team is organized and is structured. It could have been that conversation as well. And I know that's not something that we want to hear, because we believe, no, 150 million, a Bundesliga winner,
Got to be plug and play. He's got to go straight into the team.
Yeah, Asim's been saying, where's the plug and play? And maybe the plan was, to nurture him.
He has a transitional season.
Because, people don't want to hear that. People want
not the team, but him specifically has a transitional season.
Chip, Ben, or Asim, no, you're talking all bollocks. What do you mean transitional? How can 150 million pound
we
player
do that every week, so it's
fine.
I can guarantee you, Avi, the plan wasn't to drop him against Chelsea.
No, not big games. Not big games. Yeah, no, it wasn't.
That wasn't the plan, because he started against Arsenal.
And he did well. He did well.
I didn't think he was that bad against Arsenal. So
he was brilliant against
snapshot.
He was brilliant against Arsenal.
But is he playing there because McAllister was not an option, or was just not a viable option? And now that his midfield three, his first choice midfield three, are available, it's like, now where do I play you? That's what baffles me as to what the plan is. I still think, I think Gene said it a few weeks ago, I think in their heads they thought Szoboszlai was the natural one that wouldn't offer the 10 role, but they've totally and utterly they've misconstrued the idea that how much legs Szoboszlai gives you in midfield with that press. And I think a lot of stuff that was mentioned about Wirtz in pre-season is that he's this pressing monster and pressing machine, and I think he is in the Bundesliga, but the Premier League's a different animal altogether. And the physicality is a different animal altogether. Like, I'm reading today about Diaz absolutely ripping it up, 9 goals, 9 assists, or whatever it is. And it's like, it's a different level of Bundesliga. It's a completely different level. It's why Kane's great, but he looks like the world's greatest in the Bundesliga, because he's not playing against ruthless, physical,
Jadon Sancho was putting up 30 GAs in
exactly. Now, don't get me wrong. I do think Wirtz is, without a shadow of a doubt, got ridiculous potential, but I just wonder whether or not it is a case of he does need a few months to adapt to the physicality, and we do just sprinkle him in. But because there must be the backing from Richards, from Hughes and Edwards, that there's no pressure on Slot to say, you've got to play him, because he's got to get results. That's more important. And if he thinks that his midfield that he's playing at the moment gets him results, and he just sprinkles him in when he has to. Having said all that, I'm convinced he starts on Tuesday, but I think, in what position?
That was my next question to you two, but I think he does start on Tuesday. I think he will start on the left, Asim. I'm not sure if Trent starts on the right, because I know Carvajal's injured, so it might be Trent on that right-hand side. I don't think Wirtz should have anything to worry about on that side. They will come at us, by the way. Alonso, as defensively, he's got them in shape and very well organized, and they'll probably run away with winning the La Liga. His teams can get got at. We saw that against Leverkusen, that first chance. Then the floodgates opened for us last season when we played them at home. And I think with Real Madrid, I know they've got Militao, who's back on form. Alaba, who's coming back, and then Carreras, who's been absolutely brilliant for them.
He's the left back Carrera, and he's good.
Yeah, and Valverde will play tomorrow on Tuesday.
He'll play right back.
And I think they can get got out. I think they can.
Valverde will eat Wirtz up.
No, he will. He's running. Yes,
if he tries to run at him,
and especially if there's McAllister in that midfield on that left hand side too.
Yeah.
But I suppose the question is the offset, what you lose defensively from Gakpo to Wirtz. Do you, assuming Wirtz plays well, does he offer more than Gakpo is at the moment in an attacking sense? Or is Gakpo purely in the team just for balance and defensive cover? Because if he's one of the front three, he's got to be offering more than he is at the moment.
Ben, I don't think Gakpo is in the team ahead of Wirtz because of defensive cover.
You think because of the threat?
Yeah, just for his ball striking ability. His at the moment he's ending attacks. He's supposed to be ending attacks with a goal. But look, he is predictable, but he's good at what he does. But at the moment, he's not even doing that. Maybe he's getting extra attention. I don't know. But at the moment, Cody Gakpo, in terms of when he's not scoring those goals, when he's cutting inside, then there's with all due respect, there's not much more that he's providing. He doesn't connect with the left back. He doesn't provide the ball on the overlap. He doesn't connect when he goes into these interchanging of positions with Ekatike or anybody else. He doesn't connect. He doesn't get involved with these triangles out wide as well. He just wants to get the ball, receive it, half a yard, Dallah. That's what he wants. And look, he's good at it, but he's not world class at it. That's my problem. And the thing is, can we have Gakpo and Salah on the big day, and then Wirtz? This is where the overlap conversation with Wirtz.
Fucking microphone.
Right. Sorry.
Sorry, you're back, mate. You're back. Oh yeah, it's switched off. But
this is we're going back. Hello, can you hear me?
Go on. I've got you.
This is where we go back. So can you have Wirtz in the number 10 position and then Gakpo and Salah? It just doesn't work in terms of the press and the intensity.
No,
so that's my concern.
No. It is a conundrum.
Until Isak gets up to fitness, I think Wirtz has got a shout in the false 9 position. And why I say that is there was some talk about Ekatike playing slightly to the left, and there were people talking about, how does Isak get into the team? But that was more it was more to do with how Aston Villa were playing and how Ekatike needed to come off to the left, off the ball as well, because they were creating overloads with their 2 number 10s. But going by last season, his number 9 is not just a number 9. He talks about this facilitator, and even when we've got teams under control, he does like his his striker just to come and complete the box midfield. If McAllister goes deep, then he sometimes wants his number 9 to come slightly to the left and drag him out if Szoboszlai is on the other side and creating a 4. So it's not just a poacher that he wants. He wants a facilitator. He wants a striker to come. So Isak can do that. But going back to Wirtz, I think Wirtz can do that as well. Jota, for example, in terms of similar build, I know he was a lot more of a natural striker than Wirtz, but in terms of frame and in terms of physicality, there's not much difference. Although when Jota got the ball and his pressing was probably better as well, he came to light and he really, went mad into the box when he was driving with the ball. He ran through you, but that's what he was good at. A bit like Suarez, but obviously not as good. But look, I think Wirtz just needs to. There was a comment in the chat that Wirtz hasn't earned his place in the team. He's got to earn it. With all due respect, how did McAllister deserve his place before the game? I know we've been speaking out of hindsight now. Before the game, I'm telling you now, nobody wanted McAllister in the team, me included. So sometimes you have.
But we all thought he was going to pick him, didn't we? Because we knew that he fancies him, and he knows that there's a player in there. He knows that there is a player in there, but he went back. But you're absolutely right. He didn't earn that start. He's been given chance after chance to get it right, and maybe, as I say, that's a bit of mitigation because they know that there's underlying issues with fitness, and it's just a case of time with him. And hopefully that time has come now where he starts to play well again. But the other conundrum now for Tuesday is Robertson had a great game again yesterday, but he played 80 minutes against Palace in the wind and the rain. Played the full game against Villa. It wasn't a mega intense game, but it was still a full-on Premier League game against a good side. If you go with him again on Tuesday, is that too much of a risk when you pretty much 100% want to use him against City on Sunday, or do you give Kerkez another chance? Avi?
Oh, I don't think.
Sorry.
I think we should go with Kerkez because I think if Real Madrid and they're sticking by the Argentinian kid, aren't they, Mastantuono? I think he will play on the right. I think Kerkez will be all right. It's not that
I've not seen much of him at all. What is he? Is he a player?
He's not a direct runner. He won't outpace Kerkez. He's a tricky little winger. He'll cut on the left a lot more. Obviously, Arda Güler, who plays in the little pockets and stuff, and he's been a revelation this season for Madrid. I think Kerkez should be fine. I would actually start with Kerkez. A little bit of belief, listen, this is probably the biggest game of your career against Real Madrid under the lights. Go and shine now. Go. This is your moment. Go and shine. And you know what, Van Dijk, he needs to nip it a little bit as well. I think Asim mentioned it as well on the show. He needs to nip it a little bit when it comes to just having a go at Kerkez, because it's happening frequently now, and the cameras pick up on it. It's not a good look. he needs support. Look, it's a big move. And when we talk about Wirtz being 22, Kirkers is 21, guys. He's 21. I know he's had a season in the Premier League or two under Bournemouth, but look, he's come to a massive club. Bournemouth and Liverpool, it's a different spectrum. So we need to support him because I believe, and I keep saying it, Kirkers will come good.
Yeah. Asim, is Kirkus a risk on Tuesday, or would you run Robbo to the international break?
If Robbo has got it in his legs, I'd play Robbo all for the Madrid game and City game. My only worry is there have been 3 really serious, or will be 3 serious, intense games. The benefit of that is I think Liverpool did drop off a bit around the 75th, 80th minute mark.
That's the point.
And
there is 5 days between City and
is it 5 days?
Sorry,
okay,
Afi.
That's good.
5 days.
A question for
Sunday, isn't it?
A question for you, Asim. If he goes with Bellingham and Goulet alongside Chouameni in that midfield, if he goes with the 3 that he went with yesterday against Valencia, that's
did he go
with?
with?
He went with Goulet, Bellingham, and he went with Chouameni in that midfield 3. And Vinicius, we know that doesn't like to track back. Mastantuano, who's not known for his work rate, we could play Wirtz in the 10. On Tuesday.
So who did he go? Who did he go with? Goulet in midfield,
Goulet, Bellingham, and Chouameni. And Bellingham and Goulet are not the best of runners going back defensively. They're not going back too much either.
Goulet does put a shift in though.
But how much of a shift? He's not like a Szoboszlai, is he now?
No, he's not a Szoboszlai, but
and I know they got Valverde to beef up that midfield area, but especially on that side where you got Vinicius, you got Bellingham, they can be got at that midfield area. I'll be looking at those little weak spots. As much of a luxury they are forward, going back, they don't want to know. And I think that's where Alonso has found slightly trouble. I know they're 10-1 right now in the league, but that's where he's found a little bit of like discrepancies in their work rate.
Yeah, I'd be up for Robbo starting on Tuesday night and then against Manchester City.
I would. Yeah, because I'd argue that the Manchester City game is 100% more important than the Real Madrid game. However, momentum and confidence is absolutely huge to this team at the moment. You know, we know there's structural issues, we know there's personal issues. So at the very least, we've got to build some momentum and some confidence. So to play a slightly weakened team on Tuesday with a view to Sunday, I think that would cripple Sunday anyway. If we go into Tuesday and give it all guns blazing and get a result, then you know what? You roll the dice against City on Sunday, because Liverpool could be in the form of their lives and still go to the Etihad and lose. That's the reality of most seasons, to be honest. So I don't think it would be the most tragic thing for us to get beat on Sunday, because that can happen at the best of times. The momentum needs to be retained now, and I think the crowd will be well up for it. The momentum will be there on Tuesday. So to go and play a Kirkes, and dare I say even a Vert, to try and freshen it up a little bit, and then go and lose, then that just kills any sort of momentum that we've got. So I would like to see us go same 11, to be honest, off the top.
We're acting as if Robert hasn't got a mistake in him. He's been on, I thought, 3 or 4 of the goals this season that we've conceded, guys. I know Kirkes hasn't shown up trumps, and his ball work and the way he looks for his body shape when receiving the ball hasn't been great. But Robert hasn't been. Robert was
one thing that I read the other day. I forget, it might have been one of the guys in the Ultras chat. Is that, did you notice it, either of you, that the way he plays Robertson is, he gets him go a lot more than what he's done with Kirkes. It feels as though it's like they're both playing at left back, but he has different rules or different like plan for Robertson and his position and his start position, and the fact that he's allowed to just go. Whereas you don't see Kirkes getting into those forward positions anywhere near as much as Robertson. Do you think that's by design, or just purely by Robertson's like, you know what, I'll just take the game by the scruff of the neck and go?
I think I think Robert has a little bit more tactical nous, 100% over Kirkes, and the experience counts as well. The experience goes a long way. Yeah, and Robbo's brilliant. Absolutely. And Robbo's brilliant at the dark arts as well, you know, nitpicking a little yellow here and there, you know, just like a little tug.
Yeah.
Kirkes right now, the biggest thing that's
naive,
going,
isn't he?
I hit the nail on the head. I was about to say Kirkes' naivety is causing him big problems right now.
Yeah, that Moreno sort of trait.
Yeah. Like, you know, like just go gun ho for a slide tackle, get the crowd going. But he's left unwanting in some positions at the best of times.
In terms of role, man, there's no difference as to what Arne Slot is asking Robertson to do and Kirkes to do. No,
it's just the way they're carrying it out.
Just the way they're carrying out. He has a lot of. He knows when to go. He knows when to go. And Kirkes, I called him Darwin Núñez, our left back. And then what I meant by that is he's got that bozo gene in him. He just the first thing that he thinks, whether he's receiving a pass and it's a first time cross, and when he's on the outside, giving a one-touch goal with a inside midfielder or a striker that's floating on the left-hand side, and he's attacking space. That's why he looks so good, because he knew his role and he knew it. It was predictable, but he was very good at it. And he provided such a good ball from that outlet. One, when you come to Liverpool, you don't get that space, so you need to be a lot better in the mind and everywhere else as well. So you need to be a lot more clever. So at the moment, he hasn't grown into that role. There's no maturity. I hope it comes. I really hope so. And people think I'm just against him for some reason. And I'm,
we're not against any Liverpool player, are there? But you've got to call it as you see it, haven't you?
And I think what helped Robbo yesterday, you have to say that Kirkes would have been a beneficiary of as well, is the midfield. I think sometimes it was a flat midfield. If Gravenberch went, McAllister and Szoboszlai made sure they provided the protection behind him, and vice versa. Whoever went, the other two provided a protection for him. And many times it was a flat three as well. So there was a lot more solidity. And if the left back went, there was three of them at least, or two, to make sure they provided the protection in the transition. So that would have been good for Kirkes to do his role or his thing. But I think just what Avi said in terms of intelligence and tactical nous and overall experience, he knows. And let's be honest, he's grasping this opportunity. He lost his place and he was on the verge 100%. Of going to Atletico Madrid. And he's got a second opportunity. I know he's lost his legs, but there's a lot of things what that and experience can do. We've seen Joel Matip, who's lost his legs.
Very similar to Salah in lots of ways, isn't it?
100%. And you mature out. And, many people think recovery pace is the best thing that a defender can have. No. The best thing that a defender and a fullback can have is intelligence up there. Because if you're one step ahead, it doesn't matter how quick you are. So, yes, pace helps and gets you out of trouble. And Robertson was a lot quicker than he is today. But if he can show the experience and nous and make sure he doesn't get into stupid positions by making sure he stays and doesn't go when he doesn't need to, and the manager give him the platform and protection in a more conservative midfield, then I think we'll see a more sound Liverpool. So look, let's see what happens going forward, because Liverpool's
I'll give one of our biggest contributors this one to you, Avi, while we're on the subject. Is that a fair point?
Rayan, Slot is playing his left back, no different to how he did last season. It's just Kirk is shit and was the wrong profile sign by the recruitment team. Hughes has taken massive blame. I tell you one thing now. Milos Kerkez was never the wrong profile. Milos Kerkez was tracked by Liverpool whilst he was on loan from Milan at Vitesse Arnhem, where he was playing in Holland. So I know for a fact that Milos Kerkez has been tracked by the Liverpool recruitment team for the best part of 3 years. So he can't be a wrong profile. He couldn't have been a wrong profile when last season.
I don't get why.
1 minute, shut your mouth, let me speak.
No, because when he
was on form for Bournemouth, because if he's been tracked for the last 3 years, how is he the wrong profile? Where was Robertson at 21, Asim? Where was Robertson at 21? No, tell me. Where was Robertson at 21? No, he wasn't. He was at Queen of the South even, or even at Hull City.
Are you going to let me answer?
Was Robertson your first choice in 2017? Was he your first choice for left back? He wasn't. He wasn't.
I didn't know who he was.
So people who are waxing lyrical of Milos Kerkez, all of a sudden that he's shit. How can he be? He's 21 years old, guys. We're in literally November. He's only had 3 months. There was times where people said Szoboszlai was wasn't a Liverpool player because all he does is provide legs. He's not contributing with goals or assists.
But we spent £40 million on him.
It doesn't matter, Asim.
We got Robertson for 11 million.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that we've spent 115 million on words. Are you going to say sharp and shop? That's it. Chutti. You're not.
No, I'm not.
Then.
But what I'm saying is he needs to stay on the bench.
Yeah, but don't write. Basically, Rian's writing him off. He said he's shit. He is not a shit footballer. Give him time. He's 21 years old, guys. 21 years old.
Huge change.
If Liverpool track a player, if Liverpool track a player for 3
when Liverpool track a player for years, more often than not, they come good. Whether it takes time, whether it takes 3-4 months, whether it takes a season, they will come good. Fabinho, first 3 months, there was Liverpool fans saying he's too slow for the Premier League. Kante had his number in the League Cup game, if you remember, when Hazard scored a worldie against him, and they said, "Oh, Fabinho's he's the wrong profile." Later down the line, you saw him put in an amazing performance against Barcelona at Anfield, and then that was it. He went from strength to strength. He was pivotal in our European Cup success in 2019. You can't give up on players just because they've been at the club for 3 months. No chance. Not with me.
No, I get that.
You saw a glimpse of him against Arsenal, against the title leaders, where he was absolutely brilliant. He had Madueke every time. Madueke couldn't even get through him. Recovery plays, yes. And look, that was one of his best games against the league leaders. Guys, let's have some sense.
Well, look,
let's have some common sense. All I say is let's have some common sense.
Okay. The voice of reason and the voice of common sense. Are we speaking? We will show up. If Liverpool are tracking a player for 3-4 years, why does it mean that he's suddenly the right profile?
Asim, because look, we haven't changed a lot from Klopp's thesis. Slot's team is the makeup. Is it still the makeup of it? Even once Slot has had his blueprint on this team, it will still be similar to what Klopp had at his peak.
Who?
To be honest, Slot and Klopp, there's not a big difference in their play. Not a big, huge difference. Maybe the integration of a number 10 that Klopp never had. Yes, we had.
There's a lot of similarities, but there's quite a few differences as well.
But calling a player shit after only being in this club for 3 months, Rihanna is probably the same person that wanted Robbo sold in the summer. I bet you he was. I bet you Rihanna wanted Robbo.
The same person who said Slot should be sacked last week. But we'll
there you go. And Rihanna, look, I love you, but come on. If you're saying Slot, these what I mean. 1 week.
It's all opinions, isn't it? It's all opinions.
You
know, I'd like to think that that what's called he's got huge potential, especially at his age. And I don't personally see much difference between Kirkes and when Robertson first signed in terms of attributes, in terms of style of play, in terms of ability. But he has underperformed.
But Ben, the reason why you think that is because what I said a couple of weeks ago is, for me right now, Kirkes is more of a Jurgen Klopp fullback than an Arne Slot fullback, and so was Robbo. The only thing that's keeping
this wrong, completely wrong.
He's
21 years old. That's him.
That's what
he's 21 fucking years old, man. He's not like a prime. He's not in his prime like 26, 27.
That's why I said right now.
Give him time. But don't call him shit. Right now. He can't be shit then. He can't be called shit.
What is it? What is a Slot left back then? That's the question, isn't it?
A Slot left back.
I'm not a fan of Frimpong, but I've not called him shit. And I've just said 5 minutes ago, I hope he comes good. But he's not.
Okay, take a breather, Avi. Let Asim say what a Slot left back is.
He doesn't deserve to say anything today.
You keep writing notes. I'm
coloring in.
Don't make me mute you, Avi. Go on, Asim.
What a Slot left back is he stays and goes. If you want to see the benchmark of a Slot left back, just watch PSG and see how Mendes does it. He gets involved with the 2 centre backs and then he goes from the first minute for the first second of the build up. Hakimi goes, so he's there. Bradley, but the problem Liverpool and why our fullbacks have been. It's been magnified a lot, especially by me, is we've got a right-footed Kirkes at right back as well, effectively. So at the moment, it doesn't work because we've got 2 flying fullbacks and Kanate, and this is the reason why the balance isn't there. We got away with it with Trent. There we go, Ehsan. I mentioned Trent, and it took 48 minutes. But coming back to Klopp as fullback is you go Bournemouth, Adeola, high pressing, high turnover teams. And they used him on the halfway line. So that's what you call a Klopp fullback. What Robertson used to do, where, Van Dijk and Matip or Gomez were on the halfway line or receiving off the keeper. And then you had Fabinho getting involved. You had Gini Wijnaldum getting involved and Henderson getting involved. It was a flat 3 who provided literally protection for both fullbacks. Do we have those midfielders to do that? No, we don't. So in terms of profile, how can you say right now Kirkes is more of a Slot fullback than a Klopp fullback? Please explain to me, Avi.
I think we're so fixated, and I think it's actually a bit embarrassing now, the amount of times we keep mentioning PSG and this fixation that we have, that Slot wants to mirror them exactly. I don't think that's true at all, because the midfield 3 of theirs, João Neves, who else is there? Fabian Ruiz and Vitinha, we've got different profiles to them. Vitinha and João Neves are literally circle footballers right in the center circle, dictating.
Yeah, but
Ruiz has got the balance of left foot. We've got nothing alongside that in our Liverpool team right now.
What's that got to do with Kirkes, though?
No, but
player.
Yeah, because you keep mentioning time and time again. Slot has this fixation. First, he had it with Nottingham Forest. Now PSG. It's all bollocks. It's all bollocks.
It's not bollocks.
He saw PSG, and listen, both legs, regardless of how much ball possession PSG had, they were tight games. It was won by a penalty. It was won by penalties.
Why are you talking about PSG game, for God's sake?
No, because you keep mentioning PSG. You keep talking about this fixation. Slot has this fixation about PSG as if he's your fucking cha-cha and he's down the line with you, calling you every day. Oh, Asim, how do I figure out how to outmaneuver PSG? Tell me. Yavan, that's what you are. Listen. In a nutshell, Ben, let's see where Kirkes is.
There's only one super chat, flipping heck.
Let's see where. Yeah, there's a reason for that. Let's see where Kirkes is.
Look at this.
Let's see where Kirkes is. Let's see where Kirkes is in a couple of years' time. Yeah.
Just like the touch paper.
Selection, you can give it the big bollocks all you want, but
I'm still waiting for you.
People who are saying,
I'm sorry. I know you're the host.
People that are saying Kirkes is wrong.
But I'm going at you, Ben. I'm sorry.
I'm not the only one. Yeah, and listen, don't do the snapback either. Put your head on that. You're fucking 40 years old, not fucking 20.
Look how he's diverting.
Move your cap properly. Use your cap properly.
I know him too.
Okay. All right, enough now. I'm host.
Okay, you tell me now. Answer the question.
Ben, change it along. 15 minutes. I've only got
No.
I'm sorry.
He knows he's fucked it.
9 minutes.
He knows he's fucked it. I mean, you explain to me.
Right, I've muted both of them for a 5-second timeout because they're both doing me nothing.
Yeah,
now,
mute this dog. Mute this dog now.
Okay,
right.
With respect,
come on. It was supposed to be a serious podcast here. Let's have a little bit of civilization.
Ben, can you ask him? I answered the question, Ben.
Yes.
I answered the question.
One at a time now.
Okay. I answered the question. I answered the question as to how
what is a slot left back?
What is a loss? Can you ask him to explain to me why Kirkes is a slot left back than a Klopp left back? Can you ask him to explain it to me? Because I answered the question.
First of all, Ben, I don't need to articulate myself and tell you
why
Milos Kirkes is a Klopp left back than a slot. I'm sorry, but Jurgen Klopp is gone. He's gone from this football.
Oh, here we go.
You're going to either
all right.
The amount of cameras you've got behind you, it looks as if you're in a deposition, Asim. Yavan.
What's called? We've got to move it on a little bit because we could talk all night. But the bottom line is,
my biggest peeve is, do not call a footballer shit when he's only been here for 3 months. He's 21.
Yeah,
if he was 25, 26, if he was 25, 26, I'll understand it. I'll say, Rian, you know what? Fair play. It hasn't come for him. But
I'm taking those comments with a pinch of salt because I've read comment after comment after comment over the last 6 weeks, and our own captain called it out the other day in the press conference where he said, I've read some absolute nonsense in the last few weeks, and he's absolutely spot on. People saying that slot out, they're all rubbish, they're all a waste of time. It was a last season was a fluke. All this cobblers. You just take it with a pinch of salt. I don't for 1 second think that Kirkes is a shit footballer. However, he hasn't been anywhere near what we would hope he would have been since he signed. But equally,
I agree.
We have to also accept that it was a Slot, Hughes, and Edwards co-decision to buy him, and he must have been scouted for a period of time. So Slot must have had an influence as to what type of left back he wanted.
He's the best left back in the Premiership last season.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Are we saying though that it was just
he can't be a slot defender? He's not a slot left back. Like Kulija.
Or is he? That's what I'm saying.
Sorry, Ben.
I'd like to think that he just needs time. He just needs a bit of time. But then thankfully we've got Robertson to be able to play in the meantime, haven't we?
So
right. Should we do
a massive goal
some super chats quick?
And he turns his cup around after 5 minutes.
Right. We're doing some super chats before I lose the plot. Emmy is our new. He's taking on Mother Hubbard's here as our new main sponsor because he's donating left, right, and centre. So we'll kick him off here. Emmy, do you feel Villa played into our hands? Yes, I think they did to a certain degree. And I think that caveats the performance. I think it was really tight in the first 20 minutes. It could have easily been 1-0 to Villa with the fact that Rodgers hit the post and then that deflected effort that Van Dijk and Mamardashvili made a great save. So that's the fine margins of the Premier League. But then once we got the 2-goal lead, you saw Liverpool's control and that was excellent. But yes, I do think they did play into their hands. I'm just going to whiz through these ones, guys, and jump in if you want. Also, how consistent will Maka be? Well, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that we start to see something closer to the best McAllister now in the coming weeks, without a doubt. Next one again, I think Wirtz plays better with Isaac up front. We're yet to see it, really, aren't we? We haven't had an opportunity to see Isaac really in all of his glory, and hopefully we see that in the coming weeks. Can we also drop Sosbo at right back? Comments now. I think that's an interesting one. I think there's still a role for him at right back at certain times, but while Bradley's playing in the team, and I think he's got a little bit of form now, he's got a little bit of consistency, he looks injury free. I thought that was his best game against Villa. Thought he played really well. Nothing spectacular, but perfectly okay. And then the last one from Emmy will be Wirtz will come good. Recall Caicedo first season. Was Caicedo poor first season at Brighton? Can't remember.
He was poor at Chelsea first season.
Was he poor at Chelsea? Yeah. Oh, yeah, he wasn't great, was he? Okay. Brilliant. Thank you very much for those super chats.
There's a comment. There's a comment here, Ben. He says, Stoney, big up for your comment. He says, you talk about Klopp and slot fullbacks, but Trent was a Klopp fullback and he was involved in everything. You're making poorly formed judgments. Trent was involved in everything with the Klopp as a Klopp fullback. What we talked about, the 3 midfield and letting the 2 fullbacks go. But Trent was such a good footballer that he could be an all-phase player. I'm not saying Kirkez is not going to be a good player. I'm saying that he needs to mature out and get better on the football. Is because if he's going to be acting as practically a third centre back from left back and let the right back go, it would be a lot easier if Joe Gomez was on top of his game and improved his fitness, or even or Gahey, for example, from right back, and act as the third centre back, which will allow Kirkez to show his right now. What can Kirkez do to help the team is to go forward and provide his intensity, going into space or on the overlap. That's what his best traits are as a footballer. Not just this season. Last season, when he was playing really well and what you called him one of the best fullbacks, whenever you saw Kirkez, that's what he was doing. Quick 1-2 and go and cross it. And he got a few goals as well. But Trent was such a good footballer, he could do anything. So you can't compare him to Trent because Trent was really good on the ball.
The other element of all this is that we can clearly see where the gaps are in terms of the finished article of Slot's team, without a doubt. But the reality is, you can't buy a whole team in one summer. So you have to buy stages of a team. And it also, as much as nobody wants to hear this, it's also about business as well. Which players are available at which time, which is the opportunity to do the right deal at the right time for the right money. And, clearly Kirkez, even if he was, maybe he looks better when he has another similar profile midfielder in front of him, not a McAllister, and he has a better ball playing centre back alongside them, or whatever it might be. It might be stages. It might be stages, and maybe the similar thing to Wirtz, and that Wirtz is here now, but you won't see the real Wirtz until he's, Salah's not part of the team, and you've got an attack that revolves around Wirtz as opposed to Salah. So there is stages at which you've got to build your own team as well. You can't buy a whole team in one summer. The other thing I was going to mention there was, you've got one other. There was another couple of super chats. How did Coutinho fit in a Klopp midfield? But he didn't, did he? Because he was in the front three. He wasn't in the midfield.
I can only recall that Brighton game where they absolutely blitzed him and they had Mane, Bobby, Salah, and then Coutinho was in a 10 role, wasn't he?
Even that season, was never doing no massive tracking back at any stage. He was pure flair player, wasn't he?
And obviously Spartak.
And then the last one, absolutely, yeah. The last one, thank you, Giannis. Is that how you pronounce that?
Giannis, yeah. Big up Giannis.
Asim, hyperbole over fake Ella league PSG. Avi is right. You gotta admire
fake league PSG. From what I remember, PSG won the Champions League.
I'm pretty sure they won the Champions League last year, so that's sort of like
They also lost the
a bit of a
World
mute
Championship
comment.
final to Chelsea.
Oh
as well.
yeah, who cares about
Played the
that?
first team. They played the first team.
Please.
No, they played the
We're a
first team.
serious
Raminal.
podcast.
Chelsea Raminal beat them. Raminal.
Yeah, we're a serious podcast.
The one thing I will say though about PSG is that I've got the luxury of being able to rest 11 players in the league to be able to be fresh for the Champions League, and that's something that nobody else unfortunately can do.
Not with Marseille behind their trails. Marseille are a
well,
serious
we'll see this season. They might have to put the foot down right the way to the end, but in those knockout games, they were resting 10 outfield players and then giving it all. Whereas we were having to play Bournemouth, Forest, Brentford, really intense, difficult games to win a league and still be in touch with PSG on a Champions League night. So there's lots to come. Another one is that one you just started, Asim. Have a quick look on that one. India World Cup, but just like the man.
Bharat di badaiyan, Asim. Bharat di badaiyan, my Bharat. Yes, I think
they win. Did they?
They won today. Yeah, my mum was watching. The India win the World Cup. Well done, India.
Just
my Bharat.
Just changing tack a little bit of breaking news there. The great India Kali says that Kanate has been offered yet another contract offer.
Oh, fucking off.
Who said
this afternoon, apparently, India.
Who said that? Who?
Breaking news at 10 o'clock from India.
India.
Oh,
the legend that is.
Okay.
We shall see. Okay. The super chats are flowing in, guys. Promo, alarming lack of chances we create for our strikers. I heard someone else mention that actually, that Haaland scores so many goals because he gets so many chances. We don't generally, and that was a problem last season, wasn't it? Jota and Nunes, they didn't seem to be, chance magnets when they were in that centre forward position. And I wonder, that's my other thought process around Florian Wirtz playing a false nine, is because does that maybe suit us further down the line? But then you think to yourself, why the hell have they bought Isak? You just don't know, do you? You're just not sure. But that's another interesting one.
Away from that header, didn't have that many chances, did he?
I don't remember him having one chance, but I don't think he played brilliant, to be honest. He wasn't great against Brentford. I thought he was superb when he came on against United. I thought he changed the game completely and he was really bright. But I just thought he looked a little bit, on the peripheral of the game against Aston Villa. I think Aston Villa and Brighton, I think he's realising how fast the Premier League is at the moment and how intense it is. And he was blowing for chunks a little bit in the second half, and I thought he struggled. Ash, thank you very much for the super chat. Yildiz and Suel, is that how you pronounce it? Future wingers to look at?
Really?
I had no idea. I know Yildiz is the Juventus lad and he's a superb player, but we're not getting him out of Juventus anytime soon.
The Milan winger. But I will say that Kenan Yildiz, who Gina will probably have a bit more information on, I think he will move in the summer. This summer coming, or next summer, I think a lot of clubs will be looking for him, looking out for him. I think, and it wouldn't surprise me if we were one of the clubs tracking him.
Arsenal are looking at you.
Interesting. On the left. We're supposed to be linked with Semenya, aren't we?
But Mateus Sule is a good player, Argentinian winger for I think he's on loan at Roma. Good player.
Interesting. Right, okay, that's an hour. Have you two got anything left in the tank?
Would we take a draw on Tuesday?
I would take a draw on Tuesday if it meant taking a draw on Sunday.
No way.
No. I would take a draw against
and Real. You all slaughtered me for taking a draw against Chelsea.
City is a must-win, Ben.
Is it?
It's a must-win.
I would take a draw.
It's a not lose because we've got to build. Because if you're saying it's a must-win, you're saying we're still in a title race.
7 points. Listen, we're chasing Arsenal now. Let's see if their balls drop while they're being this top. Yeah. While Arsenal are comfortable, let's see if their balls drop. The onus is on us, basically. Put it that way.
It is, yeah. But I think you can win the league without winning at City.
If we were 3 points behind Arsenal, then a draw is not disastrous against City. We have to beat City now because we lost 4 in a row, Ben.
Yeah, but we got 29 games left or 28 games left.
I know,
but it could also be games.
9 points could be a lot of points.
And have you
to
seen
go.
Arsenal's run after the international break? They actually start playing some proper teams after the international break, and people are saying, "Oh, they'll beat everybody." Well, they'll beat everyone. Well, if they beat everyone, then they're going to win the league, aren't they? But we have to assume that they're not.
But Ben, everyone was saying this about us last season early on, and we kept beating
Yeah,
teams.
there was, yeah. But we've got the difference with us is that we've got players in the team who have won a title and know how to win a title. They haven't got anybody in the team who knows how to win a title yet. And I still think that if we're in touch by 4 or 5 points in February, their arse will go and we'll reel them in. I'm convinced of it, especially if we get Vert and Isaac cooking. And I'm convinced of it because I'm telling you, Arteta is not a winner. I'm convinced of it. He's not a winner. At the moment it's all rosy because they're defending.
They're not conceding. They're not giving up chances, Ben.
No, they're not giving up chances, but they're not scoring much either. They're only scoring from set pieces, and by virtue of facts, the most set piece goals in a season is something like 21. They're on 10 already, so we're saying that they're basically going at the rate of breaking the set piece record in any Premier League season by double. What I'm trying to say is I feel as though that will dry up over time. And, Saka is their best player. Salah's on double goals and he's having an awful season. I just think that the set pieces will catch up with them. And when they start to play against better teams who do score a goal, then they've got to score 2 and 3 goals. I think Liverpool have got the firepower to catch Arsenal, without a doubt. But it means that we've got to build and build. If we'd have got a draw against United or a draw against Palace or a draw against Chelsea, we wouldn't be that far away from them at all now. But losing kills the momentum and we have to reset and go again. And we have to listen to all of these whoppers saying slot out for another 3 weeks. So we need momentum. We need an unbeaten run. So I would personally take 2 draws in the next 2 games. I really would. Because I don't think it'd be the worst thing.
I'll take a draw against Madrid, but and I don't really care about the Madrid game. I tell you why, because top 21 go through anyway.
You know what?
Would you take a defeat if you win on Sunday?
Yeah.
If you told me,
Ben, I want to go. Yeah, you keep talking nonsense today. Just switch yourself off. Ben,
I was saying,
a true great team.
Chat's having me off here, so I'll just be quiet.
A great team goes back to back. A great Premier League team has to go back to back.
But we're not a great Premier League team yet, though, are we?
It doesn't matter. We need to go back to back. I will never be happy until we don't win 2 leagues in total. I couldn't care less for the European Cup. But I know for a fact we will be in Budapest next May. And Kirkes and Szoboszlai will be lifting it in Hungary.
That's what I'm just looking at. I'll be thinking.
Anything else? I've got him rattled today. He's saying anything and everything.
City is a must-win.
He is saying everything. Anything else you want to say?
I've not been.
In 3 months' time, you'll say, "I told you so."
I never get rattled by Bart Simpson. That's what you look like today with your cap, with your white. I told you about wearing white as well.
Here we go.
Rian's comment saying about Kirkes being.
You actually embarrassed yourself. That on the serious one. The Sunday show. Let me speak now.
You talk as if that's something out of the norm. You talk as if that's something out of the norm.
The Sunday show is supposed to be a serious one. When you get asked questions, when someone gives you a response, you're supposed to give them a rebuttal. All he gave me is PSG obsession, and we nearly won them. We took into extra time.
Fixated.
All that bullshit. We were talking about the profile of Mendes, the profile of Kirkes, the profile of Bradley Robertson. All he could give me is we took them to extra time. This is your level. So next time you do your research, it's supposed to be a really good conversation. All right? Stop coloring and do some research next time. Then come back to me. Carry on, Ben.
Talks absolutely. Honestly, I switched off.
All right, Tika, you switch off.
He talks such a
changing subjects.
Condense your speech. Compact. Like the Liverpool team. Make it compact.
Pick your nose.
To close us out, guys, does anyone think that Trent will play on Tuesday?
I hope he gets the ovation that he deserves. That's all I'll say. Yeah, I hope he does.
I hope he gets booed to death.
What, for wanting better?
Not literally, like
for wanting better. For wanting better. For wanting a change. What did he owe this club?
I've got no problem with. I've got no problem with wanting a change. He gave 20
years of his for his 15 years of his life in Liverpool, in his home city. He wanted to experience something new. Go for it, kid. Go and live.
Yeah, no, absolutely, I agree.
So what's the problem?
But Yeah, I agree, but he was plotting that exit for 3 years.
Let it be, Ben. He achieved everything at this club. It's not as if he shortchanged us. It's not as if he didn't win the European Cup or a Premier League. He's a legend for this club. He won everything possible. The next 5 years, let him live his life in Madrid. Let him become the Galactico superstar.
I've got no problem with him wanting a fresh start. I just feel as though the way in which it happened is that, you know, he as right or wrong as this may be, with him being a Scouser and with him being a local lad, there's an expectation that you conduct yourself in a different way to somebody who's come in from a foreign country, a Suarez, a Torres, whoever it might be. But Trent, he's a local boy, he's a local lad, and without a shadow of a doubt, he give everything. He give absolutely everything to the club, and he deserves what he gets. But the way in which he manufactured that exit, there's no way on planet Earth that Real Madrid are paying 50, 60, 70 million for him. So they planned that exit so that he went on a free. So Liverpool got absolutely nothing, even though they managed to negotiate 10 million at the end of it. And that left that, regardless, it leaves a sour taste in Liverpool's mouths, Liverpool fans' mouths, and that's just the reality of it. But it is an interesting conversation. What do you think, Asim?
I get what Avi is saying, but I agree with you as well that he didn't owe Liverpool anything.
Sitting on the fence again, Avi Asim?
No. Both things can be right. What he should have done, and I've remained all the time, consistent all the time, is that what he should have done is communicated better. I always criticized him not doing an interview with the media just in case he gets questions asked about his contract and stuff. So if you wanted to leave, be honest with the fan base. Own it. Take the, and I'm telling you, no, he didn't own it. He didn't own it. That was bullshit. Yeah, he didn't own it. All that, what was it? Was it West Ham or Southampton? I can't even remember which game. And he was doing all that sort of shit. That was to the fans.
West Ham away.
West Ham's. That was to the fans. We all thought that, you know what? We always really, really hopeful. A lot of fans thought, it's too late. But some of the guys who really, really wanted him to stay, we all thought, you know what? He's talking about the media and the outside noise. And that's what, we shouldn't listen to. But that was to the fans in hindsight. So all that sort of nonsense, yeah, he will get some people applaud him. But I think the majority of Anfield will make it hell on Tuesday night for Trent and his team. Let's be honest. But in terms of talking about the player, you guys know what I think about the player. Unbelievable. We'll never, ever replace him. But for him to get a really bad
unicorn.
Yeah, exactly. And for the fans are well within their rights to express how they feel last season and then this season when he comes to Anfield.
It would be nice if we win 2-1 and he grabs a consolation goal in front of the Kop. It would be nice. It would be a nice touch.
You are definitely on a different planet. Well, you're in California, so you might as well be.
It would be a nice touch. No, Ben, it would be a nice touch. Trust me, it would be a
lovely touch, but nobody wants that, I'm afraid.
Why would it be a lovely touch? Are you fucked?
He said it, not me.
You said it. Why are you guys fucked?
Why would nice touch? He said lovely. Liverpool. He said lovely touch.
A nice touch.
He said lovely. I said nice. I said nice. He said lovely.
Come on, guys, get real.
I just think that there's no chance that Abby. I don't know. Do we honestly think that he will? Do you think there'll be a split and that some section of the crowd will cheer him and others will boo him, or do you think it'll just be a mute sort of situation?
Your local Scouse lad is coming back home. Support him. Yes, everyone makes mistakes. Everyone's human. Whether he engineered, orchestrated a move, so be it. He went to experience something different. Steve McManaman did it and went on to win 2 European Cups and La Ligas at Real Madrid. He's done the same. At 25 years old, he achieved every single bit, every single ounce of trophies that he could win at Liverpool. He won, bar the Europa League that we never fucking give a shit about anyway. Give him a salute when he walks on. Sing his name. Because he's still a Scouser. He's still from Liverpool.
Sing his name. Look,
he won't get his name sung. That's for sure. That's for sure. He won't be getting. He might get a round of applause out of respect.
That's
but
it.
That's it. Yeah, I think majority of the
when
crowds
he comes on, it will be
give him stick.
A massive, crazy atmosphere full of boos and whistles.
I disagree with that. I'm sorry. I'm no, not for me.
That's how it'll be. You watch.
I think I agree with Asim. I think there'll be a lot of frustration, and actually, in a way, I hope he does play because I think that will light the touch paper of the crowd, and everyone will be like, "Well, you think you've gone to a better club than Liverpool?" And regardless, we all know deep down that Real Madrid's a bigger club than Liverpool, but it's pride and it's like you're a Scouser. And the fact is, and the other big, huge part of this, and Gerrard said this in his interview recently with Rio, he said that, I get it that you want to go and try something different, but the difference with Gerrard is that he wants to go and try something different because
Gerrard's ass fell on his face fell on his ass when he got threatened by gangsters, at Liverpool by Curtis Warren. You know the truth, Ben. Chelsea, he would have gone to Chelsea in a heartbeat. He got a little knock on his door. He got a little knock in his door after Euro 2004 and said, "Listen, stay pegged in Liverpool, son." That's what happened. You know the truth. I know the truth. He would have been paying for Jose Mourinho.
What? Gerrard got a knock from gangsters.
Oh, we know the truth. Come on, guys.
Who told you that?
Gerrard was out. He was out in a heartbeat.
No.
Got a little knock on the door, had a little bit of a threat to say, "Hey, listen, son, you're staying in Liverpool."
Regardless of why he stayed, my point was that he was the point he was trying to make is that he was thinking of leaving because his ambitions couldn't be fulfilled with Liverpool because we weren't a top team, we weren't challenging for leagues or Champions Leagues. Whereas Trent has left in a situation where arguably we are the best team in the country and one of the teams who's challenging for honours. So why would you want to go? That's a lot of people's point.
So, but Ben, Avi, so why didn't Trent get a knock on the door from the gangsters? Marige, are they dead?
Even Gerrard, the circle that he was in the early 2000s, Ben, you probably know this. The circle that he was in the wrong. Do you remember Jennifer? You know Jennifer Ellison, who used to be in the Brookside.
Yeah.
You know the whole story between the gangsters she was dating and Gerrard.
I know bits and bobs. I'm
not chatting shit. I'll tell you after the show.
But
anyway, I'll be the only one in America sat in my California home clapping when Trent comes on. The Scouts are in our team. The Scouts are in our team.
His head's gone tonight, hasn't it?
Trent Alexander-Arnold. Trent Alexander-Arnold. The Scouts are in our team.
I'm clipping this tomorrow. I'm clipping this tomorrow, and this wuss is gonna message me on WhatsApp, man, and say,
the funniest bit.
Don't you dare clip that on Twitter. Don't you dare clip that on Twitter. That's what he'll say to me because he's a wuss. Because he'll get a knock on the door from a gangster.
You know the funniest part about that chant is that at no point in the chant do you say Trent. You just say Alexander-Arnold, but he's just thrown in the Trent Alexander-Arnold for a laugh. You know what?
You know what I think will happen? You know what I think will happen? You know what I think will happen, Ben?
Go on.
Is he'll get heavily booed and whistled if he comes on and he plays. Yeah. But at the end, if he walks to the cop and applauds him, I think he'll get a warm 100%. Applause.
As long as we've won.
Yeah. If
we've booed, it'll be like, don't come over here, mate. Go down that tunnel right this minute because you're nothing to do with us anymore. But if we've won, then it'd be like, you know what, mate? You come up, you come out, you stood it out, and you won. The fact that he's not involved in the team at the moment as well is interesting. I don't think Alonso will put him on personally. I just think Alonso's not soft. I think Alonso will think, you know what? The last thing I want to do is get this crowd going, and so he won't be anywhere there. He'll be there. He'll be sat in the stands with his hood up and his head down, but he won't be playing. I'll be amazed if he plays, to be honest. But we shall see. Right, gents. I'm going to go and take a long bath and take a few paracetamol. What's the plans for Tuesday, Asim, as things stand?
We'll decide tomorrow.
These people haven't a clue, mate. These people haven't a clue.
Anjay, I didn't put that out, by the way.
No, I put it up. These people, let me tell you, these people haven't a clue.
Avi is a Besharam as a Sikh. He sports India. What was the last one?
That was one of the ones.
Okay, he doesn't support India. That's why I remained quiet. I know he's trolling.
Avi looks superb in a turban though on his Instagram. So fair play.
And listen, guys, I did get. I think Asim retweeted a story on BNR. I don't accept. And listen, I love chatting to everyone, and I love the trolling. I love the abuse that I get on YouTube. But on Instagram, I do keep it very close family and friend circle. So if I haven't added you, do not take it as a personal insult and whatnot. Absolutely. You can follow me on Twitter. You can follow me on YouTube. Give me all the abuse you want. But on Instagram, I only keep it a tight circle because I put pictures up of families, nephews and sons and whatnot, and kids and whatnot. So just want to be careful with that. That's it. Thank you.
Right, people, thank you very much. I officially quit as host. I will see you all on the next
You know
stream.
what? You know what, guys? It's an absolute travesty that we didn't talk about Dominic Szoboszlai tonight. I just want to end on that.
Yeah. Well, let's finish with your man of the match. Asim, man of the match.
Dominic Szoboszlai. I thought Salah.
So glad you didn't say Salah.
No, I thought Salah looked really sharp. It looked like his old self.
He had that blue nose Dinier on toast, which is great.
He did. But I thought
Szoboszlai was excellent.
He was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Absolutely unbelievable. Yeah. And you know what? I keep on saying it, and I don't give a crap, that I'm glad he's getting the respect and the credit. Dominic Szoboszlai did everything that he did on the football pitch last year. But because we don't have the individuals performing this year, especially in the press, like Luis Diaz, what he does, on an individual basis, where he goes in midfield and acts like the deep progressor, then and really provides the intensity from the front, and then counter presses and win balls, and then plays outside foot of the balls to Salah between the lines. He did that not like yesterday, but a lot of that in terms of getting about the pitch. He did every single thing and more last year, but he didn't get the credit he deserved. And a lot of people kept on talking about his output. But we need foundations. We need people to provide the foundations to our players like Salah. And honestly, I said that we should tell him now. I know Chine's been talking about McAllister being the future captain of Liverpool. You know what? It's a bit of symbolism that he wears the number 8 and Liverpool are back in Adidas, that he should be my future captain. If I'm going to give it to someone after Van Dijk and a few of the leaders, then I would give it to Dominic Szoboszlai. He epitomized everything that was good about Liverpool yesterday.
Brilliant. Anything to add that, Abby?
I'll go out on a limb to say Dominic Szoboszlai, he may be a future Liverpool captain. I can see him also be play at Real Madrid at some point in his career. Like the great Hungarian Puskas.
Wow.
So that's
what I'll finish.
Like God.
I'll finish on the thought that let's just hope that our very own future captain Steven Szoboszlai does not go to Real Madrid on a free.